All right, people of the world. Okay, let me see. I want to buy people of the world. Wow, I sound great. Okay, let's see. Let's put this over here. A little bit bigger real estate over here for people's voice to be heard. All right, so today is Sunday. I am sure people are on vacation right now. It's okay if you don't chime in. It's okay too. It's life, you know? Sometimes you got people interacting with your video and sometimes you don't. It's okay. Life goes on. All right. So you guys, I have some time to think. I'm actually not feeling too well, but it's okay. It's life. Let's see. I don't even have water. That's terrible. Hold on, you guys. Let me go and get some water real quick. I'll be right back. Go ahead and stare at this chart real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, stay happy. I love that handle. Thank you so much for the reminder. I will stay happy. 888. Thank you so much for joining. How are we doing today? So, Gamestop. I know everybody's here for Gamestop, right? But, there's a lot of stuff going on as well beside Gamestop. I mean, look at MSTR over here, Now, of course, there's speculation. It's still a speculation still. Who knows if this is happening? But it's encouraging to see Ryan Cohen having picture with Michael Saylor. So there's a hint there, right? And of course, this is a good place to be when you have the sentiment of retail investor everywhere. Whether they're enthusiastic about the company itself moving into a transition of growth or, at least stability, region of this particular company. As we know, as an investor, if you've been here for a long time, you understand the constant struggle, of the long-term investor over here of GME to try to get educate people that it's not a meme stock. Okay, we've out of the meme stock stage. So please don't even call it a meme stock if you have still, and don't even compare it to AMC or any other stocks out there that are quote unquote meme stock. Get rid of it, And so again, this is the era of GME's not being a meme stock. So hopefully people will start, comparing it to MSTR. So that's a good comparison, I feel like, right? Better association. Now it depends on who you ask, right? If you're not the crypto type, obviously this is going to be painful for some people. Because I did heard some comment out there, and throughout like YouTubers out there, I forgot who, that if GME were to buy Bitcoin, they're gonna sell GME right away. So, I mean, if that's the case, you're missing out on the whole, kind of industry over here that could make GME way more valuable than it is today. And it's just the company alone. I'm sure you're gonna Well, in my opinion, anyway. So I have to speak for myself. I can't say like, because I'm not the cult member. Cult leader over here. So, we have Morans, we have Carter Corner Pocket. Yeah, those are cult leaders. I'm not. I'm just a follower over here. Okay. Nah, just kidding. Okay. My point is that the growth in crypto is so much, which just in its infancy, but to be able to be at the edge of that innovation is very exciting for GameStop in particular. Again, because if you compare GME to MicroStrategy 2.0, I really feel that is a much closer possibility than not. Okay. Hey, I mean, if people are drawing the chart already, but again, still speculation, right? Who knows? The similarity is canning at the moment. But again, don't go out there doing call options and all that stuff. We all know that call option is a bit skewed. If you buy call, be sure to be more expensive than puts. If you want to do experiment, great. That's on you. Hey, what's up? Lino, thank you. Gabriel, what's up? Thank you so much for joining. How are we doing today, you guys? But anyway, I was just here kind of chilling, and I was like, well, let me just go live, just to talk to my people and see how do we feel about life in general today. And I'm like, okay, I have nothing to do anyway, so let's go online. Reminiscing about where the future of GME is, And to me, it's just exciting. As you know, my root was on crypto, so seeing this is kind of like solidified that I was right in the industry in general, right? But again, that doesn't mean that it's not going to go down in price or anything like that. When news-based rally like this ensued, it's really to entice you to bet on the short-dated call options or put options and all that stuff, right? Just to make you go through that roller coaster of emotion first before they, send it over to the level. I'm talking about price action over here. And so, none of that really give you any insight into where the company is going. Now, my point is, if you know that the company is doing better, right? Why would you care about the price action? Just buy whenever you can, store it away, and save it for later. Just in case it's 10x from now, then okay, yeah, you make your gain. Now the problem is we don't know when. That's the growing pain that we have to go through, right? I keep saying it's like, oh, it's going to be 3 years from now, right? Who knows? It may be 10 years from now. But I feel like we're at the bottom at the moment. So let me look at this real quick here before I go on to the meat and potatoes of this show. So Friday, it was closed below, just 1 cent below, right? And then, but again, depends on where you look. I saw, where was it? See, depends on where you look. I thought Vivo showed 27 even. I could be wrong though. I need to recheck on that one. But it seems like this also include after hours. But I need to verify that myself. But I mean, if you look at the price action, it's right hovering around that. It just so happened to be closer to the max pain that week. And, even though we have this massive price action over here after hours, pre-market and then dump also too with this, quote unquote news event base. So, again, normal stock do not trade like this. Unless those news was created just to, a rug pull on people, so to speak, in crypto term, and to entice people, retail investor, most likely to buy into those short-dated call in order to lose money, so that the market maker could once again win in the hand that is, again. Because they can bring down the price at will, let certain order go on the lit exchange while the other one's on dark pool, right? Buy orders only let go after hours. And so this is how the market maker is manipulating the price. I can't say that with certainty, but with just observation over here. So I have nothing to prove here. No evidence against them at all, just the observation over here that I could tell. And of course, if you, scroll into people, keep tracking of the day-to-day price action, you would understand certain things here, right? Now, Elon Musk has been very, very vocal on naked short selling and how he explained how Tesla was a very abused on that front. So let's listen in, just in case people don't listen to me and people listen to Elon Musk. Elon Musk right now is in Doge. So this is also another sector of the government that we need to look into, which is the SEC. As to why they're not doing anything about naked shorting and all that stuff. And I hope they look into that. But let's hear what he's saying over here. I know, I'm sure somebody already listened to this already. So it's 2 minutes long. So I'll be right back.
Well, I think that there's very few areas in life where you can sell things that you don't own, and the short selling really where you can sell shares that you don't own. When I said it was vestigial, it came from an era when stocks were traded by people traveling on horseback to exchange stock certificates. And in order to have the transaction speed not take weeks, somebody would say, well, the stock certificate is coming on that horse. I don't have the stock certificate right now, but I promise you that I'm getting the stock certificate, and the rider is going to be here. I'm in New York. The rider is going to be here from Chicago in 3 days, and then I'll be able to give you the stock certificate. Yeah. That's where this whole silly thing arose. Yeah. Yeah. But then the problem is, like, the way short selling is used today is it's kind of like it's frankly used against the public. So most people aren't aware that short selling even exists. And then the ones that are, very few of them know how to use it. It's basically like 0.01% of stockholders know how to use short positions to get ahead. And so
that's important. He said 0.0%. So we're not fighting the whole market here, you guys. We're only fighting a handful, 0.% of the stupidity that is happening with GME over here, okay? So again, only a handful of hedge funds out there that are stupid enough to even still short GameStop right now. Like, what? They're digging themselves further down because, again, they have to double down on their stupidity, right? Otherwise, they can't survive. It seemed like if that is the truth about the amount of people who are actually shorting or know how to short to get ahead, maybe perhaps only that amount of people get ahead. Maybe there's more short seller than that, but just 0.1%, you guys. So not even the whole 1% over here.
So it's like, I think, effectively a tax on the public.
I think it's immoral myself. I just don't think it's right at all.
Yeah.
A big group can come in and crush a company simply because, well, we're going to make a lot of money. I haven't made my my quota this month or what have you. So I really don't care for it.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla was under massive attack by the short and distort, where they take a short position and then they do everything possible to trash the company in every 6 ways to Sunday. And they were successful. And this has now happened to Tesla twice. It happened in 2013, and it happened in basically 2017 through 2019. I mean, the intensity of the attack was crazy. And I was like, man, this you know, it would like cause you to lose faith in humanity, the degree to which this went on. And like, we don't have shorting in like private companies. The vast majority of companies, over 90%, are private, and you cannot short them. And yet somehow we get private companies get things done. So there's a perniciously false effective markets argument made for shorting, and but it is vice disguised as virtue. Well,
yeah. So, I mean, again, this is detrimental. Obviously, we could take that as an opportunity as well, because now we know how to win the game. To win the game, you just buy and hold, and then, and then reap the reward later. Hopefully many people hold. And if they don't, yes, I mean, they could sell out whatever price they want to sell. But the whole key is to only think about the long-term investment type of deal, not to, be bogged down by the price action here and there, sell here, buy here, wait for their, again, very complicated. But the game is up. Like, the reason why it was so effective back then, the short and distort, right, was that retail didn't know that. Retail thought, okay, the market is going down, so let me sell it. And not knowing that when you sell it, these people who have shorted that stock at a higher price without being borrowed from somebody, they just, create the share out of thin air because they're a market maker, just like, or they have the bona fide market maker status. To be able to do that, you have to have a license to do that. And so when they do that, it causes a chaos. Meaning, it's like, oh, okay, if you don't sell now, look, GME's going to go bankrupt. And so typically, retail would just sell and then, of course, take a loss, right? But now, obviously we know the game, and the game is, okay, well, if they think it's going bankrupt and then you have a catalyst like Ryan Cohen coming in, then that's a renewal hope. And oftentimes, they still kind of muddle the water as well, even though there's a renewal hope. What do? They have to, come up with a different strategy to try to, at least mislead the masses. And that's where you get AMC coming from, right? And again, if you've been through that time period, you understand the onslaughts of media and, the apparatus that they have in order to mislead people into buying into AMC rather than GME. You would hear a lot of comments, even regular people who doesn't know anything about GameStop would just say, oh, I thought it was a meme stock type thing, right? So I know, I'm going crazy today. What's happening? So the idea, the strategy has been around for so long, and I don't claim to be an expert, but I've been around in the market for a long time, and I see the similarity with Bitcoin as well. Same thing. So I to try to distract people from Bitcoin, the most valuable chain. XRP is another one as well. In my opinion, obviously you have your own if you, follow any of those. And when that happens, obviously, it causes a lot of, public discourse to be like, those are shitcoin. Oh, those are shit company. Why would you hold that? Look, I hold Shiba Inu and it went up 100%, you're a sucker. By not buying into Shiba Inu. And again, taunting type of things. Now, I don't know how many of that is robots and coming in to kind of infiltrate, chats and stuff like that. So, and anyone who tell the truth would not be getting promoted. Whether it's algorithm, whether it's what is it? If you listen to Marantz, you understand what I'm talking about. But and the whole point is to scare you away from the investment that you should be in right now, especially in the critical point. And before the inflection, I guarantee you there would be an onslaught of just negative news bombarding you with, imaging of Ryan Cohen sitting on a pile of cash while the company's symbol went down, right? Those type of depiction is trying to get you to psychologically say that, oh yeah, he just there for the cash pile. When the truth of the matter is, it's not like that at all. It's all a perception that they want you to think about this particular company, this particular leadership, Ryan Cohen, even Elon Musk too. There was an onslaught of negative sentiment on the guy who trying to build an electric car. And the leading one at that. And guess what happened? I think the Biden administration I remember this distinctly. It was an EV something, global recognition or something like that. And Tesla was not invited. I was like, what? Like anyone in this world who, who's not bought and paid for would be like, well, wasn't Tesla is the leading whatever, but GM received the grant and all that stuff. But it's crazy. But anyway, my point is that, if you're not in the club, they're not going to promote you. And so, people from the outsider, and I know, look, Elon Musk has been gone through a lot, with all the company. I understand he is a billionaire. He's not going to, need my sympathy over here. But my point is that the guy has been, I feel like he's just following his passion here. And his passion is just so happened to build a lot of big companies out there. Yes, big companies is going to, at least help shape humanity in a different way, shape or form. Now, I'm hoping it's not going to be like mind control and everything. What scared me the most is that Neuralink. Neuralink, oh my God, the next generation is going to be a chipped plant into their head. But I really hope it's not part of the plan over here to enslave us all. But anyway, I've been watching a lot of those lately, sci-fi movie. So forgive me if I'm going crazy right now. But anyway, so with this particular issue, though, it's very hard pressed for the structure of the market in general. We do not want this because, again, it's not fostering any innovation that happens when new company is trying to raise money from the public. They are unable to because, new companies don't want to be treated unwell by the market makers out there. And so, again, that's why they make shady deals with each other at some point, market maker or, whatever, the banks. Who knows what the process of IPO is, right? If you do, please tell me. But I'll read the chat in a minute, but let me try to finish my thoughts over here. Oh my God. I'm going blank. So let's read the chat instead. Okay, shopping by the, okay, all right, stopping by to hit that. Thank you. I'm ready for the annual report. Should I even pay rent next? Hey, if you have money to pay rent and it's due, pay the rent first. Be responsible. Okay? That's what I advocate. Hello. Hi. I did a letter to the cool on Discord. Got a hater in a lot of okay, got a lot of hater. That's cool. That's cool. That would be cool, right? I'm sure it's coming though. I think it's not the priority at the moment because there are a lot of high pressed. I guess the agency that protests the most is what they are going after, which is U.S. aid. That's why you hear a lot of stuff that comes out of that. And now, if the SEC is going to be the next in line to be audited, and then they are not cooperating, yeah, that's going to be a problem too. So right now, they're probably just trying to stay as low as possible and hope that Deutsche is not going to look into them. So probably a strategy of some sort. But it seems like Maxine Water, lady from the Congress, is trying to kind of block that from happening. They're freaking out, you guys, that everywhere it seems like, the people that are standing to benefit from the system being in the dark for so long has been running through the heel. I mean, you've heard about the criminal terminology, criminal lawyer or something, or defense lawyer, spike, in Google search in Washington, D.C. And, people do report on it. If you follow those type of things, you understand what I'm talking about. But, and so, I mean, how is that going to affect the market at large? Well, it's going to shake up the market for sure. And it's going to put some fear into somebody's who who will, if you don't commit the crime, why would you care, right? If the record doesn't show that, then you're free to go, Unless you are committing the crime, then of course you don't want to be audited. That it's funny, right? When you do taxes, they want to audit you all the time, and if you don't, report the right taxes, of course they're gonna come after you. And but if we go through their spending, they're ups and arms about it. So it's pretty telling. Now, let's hold on one second. Power to the player. Okay, people are printing the Bucks and Bunny thing. Let's see. Of course, this is the one I talked about. Maxine Water here, panicking. There's so much to, let me see, and the situation about gold shortage as well, and how there's been a lot of movement in gold market over here. And of course, again, there's a lot of fear in the market, right? But perhaps this is just, again, the transition from one industry to another, and they're moving their funds and all that stuff. So it may just be on the surface, it's going to be chaotic. Do I expect a market crash anytime in the future? I mean, anything could happen, honestly, when you have a shakeup like this. A lot of firing, from the federal level. These agencies have so many people who are useless in protecting, I shouldn't say that. Because I don't know what it entails. As I'm sure some of these people are very useful in operating the government. I'm not talking about you if you are, useful in some way. I'm talking about like people who are just sitting around doing nothing, right? And so, whether to suck more value out of taxpayers or sucking more value out of us in general by, selling us bull crap, right? and then pocketing for their own self by, deceiving the American people in some way. I mean, the whole thing about coronavirus coming out here, it's crazy. If you kind of go back into how it was forced upon us to be mandated. And I always feel so funny about that because, like, typically you only need one vaccine to be okay. Like if it's like a flu and all that stuff, but then they keep saying, well, you need a booster shot and then another booster. My mom actually got 4 shots so far. I'm like, shit, Thank goodness I only do 2 shots. But I mean, immediately, obviously, the side effect was crazy. I got sick, but thank goodness it wasn't, that bad. But it makes people sick, you guys, and it's crazy. But anyway, why am I going to like all of that stuff? So let me calm down a little bit and then get back to this whole markets here. So let's see.
It's like when you can't borrow a stock to short it. I short a stock, right? And then I have to borrow it to short it. Well, you have to, at some point, cover the short. And what happens when you cover the short is you cover it because either it becomes too hard to borrow, right? Or because you've made money, or because it's gone up. Now, we take that concept and we bring it to gold, which is where it started. And I am a speculator who has no interest, who does not have the gold for delivery. I don't have it. Some do, some don't. And I short the contract, and the market goes up. And it comes to expiration, let's say on COMEX, and the person says, you know what? The long, who's usually the weaker hand in the relationship, the small hand, says, I think I want the gold. I want the gold now. And I say, as a short, I don't have it. I have to borrow it, like borrowing a short for a share. And that's where the lease rate starts to go up. Well, where's the gold? Oh, it's over in London. Let me borrow it. In gold in London to lease. It's all over the place. You can get it anywhere you want. It's 10 basis points. And then it's 50 basis points.
Let me follow this. So you're saying, I've sold you some gold I don't have. And suddenly next Tuesday, you're like, Chris, where's my bar? And I'm like, I'll be right back. And I have to go find a bar.
Right.
And somebody's willing to lease me that bar.
Absolutely.
And I can pay that. And the idea is that I pay a lease rate, and then some point in the future I give them a real bar back. But if it turns out we have a real shortage of bars out there and everybody's trying to do the same thing, you get a chart that looks like this. Did I get that right?
Yes, you got it right. In fact, that's if the EFP was the early canary in the gold mine, then this is like a flock of canaries. So to put a point on it, before I put the tinfoil hat on, gold leasing is a normal, necessary part of the business. Everyone knows that all the gold everywhere in the world is gettable at a price. It's not consumed, it's not eaten, it's not destroyed by some bug. All right? So, and silver somewhere in the middle. And so what happens is, I'm a jeweler and I need to buy gold, and a refiner says, I have the processed gold for you, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe there's a strike to get the gold to. Maybe it's back in the days of South Africa, and the guy at the smelter, at the refiner in Switzerland says the delivery is 5 days late. And so what does the refiner do? He finds someone who has gold in a vault, and he says, I'm going to borrow your gold, I'm going to pay you interest on it, and I'm going to use that gold to give to the jeweler so he can make his jewelry. Right? So I get charged a lease rate. The jeweler in the normal business says, hey, I want the gold. And the smelter, who's short to him, says, well, I don't have it. Give me a second. Let me borrow it from someone. And so he borrows it from all the rich people in the world that have their gold there, and the central banks, and the BIS acting as agent for central banks. And he pays 10 cents or something like that. But he literally will take the gold and give it to the jeweler so he can use it. Now, he's got a 30-day contract with whoever he borrowed the gold from. Hey, I want my gold back there in 30 days. Right? So he pays the interest, 10 basis points, 20 basis points, annualized, it's like 1%. And in 30 days, he puts the gold back. Now, if he's an aggressive evil speculator. He just keeps shorting the market and he keeps borrowing for delivery, betting that at some point the deliveries won't keep up. For every 10 contracts, I'm a bullion bank. If I know that for every 10 contracts that I sell, only one's going to want delivery, I'm going to short 10. And that one guy who wants delivery, I'm going to go borrow it. I don't need.
So that's pretty complex, right? I mean, to people who doesn't know what contract, right? Again, they do this to make money, to front run, okay? And imagine in this scenario, obviously it's like the physical, transportation of gold is not there in 5 days. So, I mean, at least there's physical gold coming in at some point in time, But for shares, though, they have this reg show thing that, okay, if you short the share, it's more like electronic too. And so there's even more egregious, in terms of the amount of shares being shorted at any given time. And on top of that, they know your book orders already. They get to see how many people want this share at this price right at the moment in time. And so, that's why, again, stop loss is a bit risky, because when you put stop loss, they know what price to push down they know at what price they would have to cost oh my goodness. What is wrong with me today? At what price can they push down so that stop loss get triggered? And then you lose the share because, you're like, okay, if I lose it this much, it's okay. But then only to kind of wick back up so that, by the time you look into your portfolio, you're like, oh, my share is lost. Now it's even higher than the price that you put the stop loss at. So again, the order is already been seen by them. And so that's why, again, at a certain price point, and that's based on the contract too, and how much they're shorting at that particular period of time. And again, perhaps this is what you're seeing. The same exact mechanism, you guys. It's nothing new here. And we knew this, but this is predatory. Again, you don't have the physical share or goal or whatever, but because you want to front run people, every second of the day in order to make the pennies on the dollars, because if you do this enough, of course, it's going to add up to billions of dollars over here. Even though it's shady, who cares? You make $1 billion, right? And if the regulator out there who are in the pockets of these people find you out, oh, well, just give me $3 million of that $4 billion that you make. And so that's where and who's losing? Retail. Retail did not get to participate with this particular price action at all. Now, smart retail would be like, well, okay, I know the game. Okay, you are suppressing the price artificially. So every share that I buy right now is technically worth more. So the way to outsmart them, people who are front running it, right, is to buy, share, and hold. And if they are selling you something that they don't own, and eventually, whether it's a year later, 2 years later, eventually, those back order or whatever, backlog is going to become so enormous that they cannot even keep it afloat. The dam will be breaking. And so that's why you see, it's like, okay, like a pressure release of some sort over here. And then it come back down. But they have to short it back, right? Because again, they cannot be blown out. And again, this also caused a lot of retail investors, retail traders to lose money as well. So, just don't play that game. Just buy whenever you can. And then, if you want to play the game, know that you're going to lose, most of the time. Yes, you might win in a small window or whatever, if you could time it right. But, don't be expecting like billions of dollars either, because they could still do this thing too, where they spike it up in after hours, and then when it opens, you don't even get to participate in the gain on the call option at all, right? When it could be $800 per contract. If it goes up here, it becomes $200, right? Because again, immediately opens, it just come crashing down. So again, the incentive is for you to lose on the call option. And so it's skewed, very skewed. And it's not normal. It's not normal. This type of thing is not normal at all. Okay, so let's continue.
The gold, I'll borrow it from a Rothschild who's got gold in a vault over there. So that's the normal operation. It's actually necessary. It's part of the business. And here's where it gets strange, or this is what's happening. I'm this short-sighted seller, and it's no longer a jeweler, 1 out of 10 contracts. It's 9 out of 10 contracts. The guy says, hey, I actually want the gold this time. What do you mean? You don't usually do that. It's statistical playing running into a sea change. And the sea change is somebody in the U.S. wants the gold. It's JP Morgan. It's Bank of America. China wants it, and they're pulling it out of the U.S., so U.S. needs to replenish it. It's just all going into China. It's like out of London into China, out of London into the U.S., out of the U.S. into China. But now it's staying in the U.S. So now you've got this guy who says, this is where the lease rates come in. The price hasn't gone up at all yet. I don't have to go in and cover my shorts in the futures to make delivery. I'll just borrow it from someone. Well, it's no longer 10 basis points. It's 1%. It's 2%. It's 5%, as the chart shows. Now, how does it get to 5%? In the good old-fashioned way, it gets to 5% because there's not enough gold available for lease. And what are the reasons that cause there to not be enough gold available to lease? Well, the first one is there just isn't enough. The second one is, and this is why the whole throttling and headline at Bloomberg is, frankly, a load of horseshit. If the gold is there, then it would trade. It would come out of the vault. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't want to make $5 more on their gold? Do you want to lose money? Right? That's the point. If gold's not destroyed, you do that. So now you have this 5% lease, and you say, well, where's it coming from? Well, it's coming from, it's a combination of things. China wants their gold. There's less of a gold float. And then here's an academic thing that's very important. Basel III is going to get implemented in the U.S. in July. This could be our answer.
Tier 1 asset.
Right. In July of 2025, Basel III, which essentially reestablishes gold as a tier 1 asset in Europe. It's a European rule, right? But it ends up becoming the global rule. If it's tier 1 asset, then you can, if you have it in your presence, you can actually, let's say this is worth $2,900. I can get $2,900 for it from the Fed window. But we don't do that yet. But in July of this year, we're supposedly supposed to be implementing that. So you want to get your gold back before then, because you can now get it out of Europe and get it cash from the Fed window. So that's a reason to repatriate your gold. All right? So no one's really talking about that. There's only one other person out there who's mentioned it, who reminded me of it, and that's Eric Young. King Kong on X. But he and I were talking about it when it first started 18 months prior, and he's like, you know what? They're going to be implementing that in the U.S. I'm like, well, shit, I want to have my gold back in the U.S. for them. So there's no gold available for lease, right? China is buying all the gold that is available for lease, and the rate goes to 5%. What should happen now is the price of gold should go up. What's 5% of $2,800? It's 5% for 1 month. So I have a choice now. I'm short the gold. I can either spend 5% for the lease with no guarantee that gold will come down in price, or I can go in and cover the gold. As people lose their faith in the LBMA's and the Bank of England's strength in keeping a lid on the price, it's trading $5 lower. As the collective faith of that industry in Europe is tested, they will say 5% for 30 days, that's $140 I'm paying. How much higher is gold? $5? Fuck it, buy it. So it's like I'm going to cover my short rather than pay the lease rate. And as the lease rate goes up, another thing will happen, and you would definitely appreciate this, I think. As the lease rate goes up, you can't go to the lessor and you can't say, you know what, I don't want to borrow for 30 days. I want to borrow for 1 year. And the guy says, no, we don't want to do that. We want our gold back. You've got 10 days left. Where's our gold? It's like, well, how much to release it? Well, that's 10%. Now, mind you, the industry suffers greatly. The jeweler can't get his gold, but they're all, in one way or another, leaning on this free leasing gold forever. And the result is, if the pull-in keeps coming to the U.S., if, for example, J.P. Morgan is pulling all of its leasable gold out of Europe, and I'm a European with gold there at the Bank of England, shit, I'm not going to let any of my gold leave the vault until the dust settles. And so we have a repatriation. I'm sorry, I've been speaking too much. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Chris.
Well, I've so many thoughts come up because, all right, so here's a model I have in my head, right? And it's based on this, again, sins of omission, commission. When I find something I can't find out, I get more curious, not less. So right now, I could probably Google up like easier to find plans for how to make a do-it-yourself nuclear bomb than I could to find out how much gold exists where.
That's
I keep trying. I scour bank reports. Finland has leased its gold, but to whom, under what terms? You know, I don't know, right? And so my view of this has always been that, you know, this should be simple. Here's a guy probably in the 50s. There's bars on a number.
That's a good title. I'm sorry. That's a good title.
Yeah, back when people could still count that. Now they're like, it's so hard. How would we? Oh, we'd have to conduct an assay, and we don't know. It'd be so hard to figure out what is in Fort Knox.
It's so hard, and you have all this technology. So, I mean, the speculation is that, you know, they might not have gold there at all. And so, again, you know, when you trade something based on the contract, and this is where ETF is kind of dangerous, right? Gold ETFs and all that stuff, because you never know that, you know, whether those ETF represent any amount of physical gold at all, even though it says that, you know, gold ETF is supposedly that. So again, ETF is used to kind of like keep a lid on something, right? And so, you know, they suppress the price of gold willy-nilly. How do I know that? Well, there's been report where, you know, J.P. Morgan get a fine for, you know, price fixing or whatever. So they've done that. Like, it's not like it's old, nothing new here at all. Okay. Let me see. This is the first time I seen majority and national state and country won their gold back. Yeah, this is different. Country are doing all major gold movement. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a national, Treasury is probably, well, one speculation is that that I heard people talked about is that Treasury is trying to get ahead of Doge if Doge were to audit gold next to see if, you know, these that the U.S. claimed to have a certain amount of gold in the vault, and so perhaps we're the one who are, you know, responsible for those physical gold being transported. But yeah, I mean, that is just to explain the concept of short selling and all that stuff. And again, it works the same way, rehypothecations and all that stuff. And it's a cluster, you know, it's a cluster of just tangle of bullshit, you know, to try to tell you, oh, it's in the swaps contract and, you know, hidden somewhere in the tranches. Try to create ETF after ETF and all that stuff, and stealing, you know, looting from other ETF that has a GME in order to, you know, get a couple of 100 shares in order to dump into the market at the opportune time. And so, and on top of that, you know, they have the ability to reroute orders and all that stuff, and have the ability to cover after hours as well. So again, stuff like that will happen, and that's why you see the if you look at the short interest right now, it's lower on the reported end. But of course, I still remain kind of headstrong in the fact that I don't think they are covering, Hey, if not, again, doesn't matter. Company's going to do well. So worst case scenario is that it's going to grow just normally as a normal stock, right? It's not going to be a MOAS type of situation. But that's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, obviously, MOAS. Yeah, that's what we're all waiting for here. If the thesis is right? Again, this depends on a theory here. The thesis that I have on GME is the fact that they have not closed those positions. They don't have the actual share, and that they are afraid to buy or let the price of GME go higher because somebody is liable for that, right? So just like the situation that we have right now with gold. So that's why I have that play. And of course, yes, GME on Ethereum and all that stuff is going to be getting promoted. And again, nobody is shorting these things, okay? You don't see any, major institution. Again, this is just to steer people away from the actual company itself. So be careful. I'm not saying you're not going to make money on the blockchain, GME blockchain or anything like that. But don't get it confused, okay? Now, let me switch gear here real quick because it's kind of related, I think, because, we're getting into the blockchain things, and this rehypothecation thing could be solved by using blockchain to do that. Now, the one blockchain that I'm looking at, obviously, is XRP. I hope it's still over here somewhere. Right here. So this is David Short. He is responsible for the XRP ledger, and this is probably one of their promotion here to try to educate people about the chain at large. And let's listen in what he is saying over here, what XRP is useful for.
I'm David Schwartz, and this is Crypto in a Minute. Tokenization can improve efficiency by eliminating some of the problems with asset transfer and ownership. If you've ever bought a house, you know that it's very complicated to determine who owns a house. There's a lot of paperwork involved with the sale, recording the sale. There's a risk of fraud in the delivery of the payment and, of course, in being able to prove ownership of the asset. Tokenization can eliminate all those problems by using digital distributed ledgers to track the ownership of assets. That also simplifies things like if you want to borrow against an asset, use the asset for collateral, the person who's providing you the loan can more easily determine that you own the asset, and they can make sure that you aren't borrowing from a number of different lenders. Boom.
So that's called rehypothecation, right? The idea that you don't even have the actual goal, but then now you're trading contracts. And so, 10 contract at the time. So that's call option right there. So it's called naked call. Yeah, they're selling you naked call. There you go. They don't actually have the share to sell that call to you, but they sell the contract anyway. So that because perhaps they're like, oh, it's not going to be worth that much in 10 weeks. No, sorry, in 10 days. Whatever days, right? Depends on which contract you are saying. So again, that's why I say naked short. Sometimes naked short just means that as well. Naked contract that is sold because of the they don't have the actual share, they just sell the contract to you. And I think that this is where Keith Gill figured it out too, is that, yeah, perhaps they don't even have the share to sell those calls. And again, speculation, right? That probably why E-Trade was freaking out, trying to deplatform him or whatever. But that would have been a terrible mistake to do. Because he could just DRS it and send it out. And then they lose business. But yeah, so XRP Ledger obviously is prime for that. And, the crypto industry in general has been misunderstood for quite some time. And, I've been sitting on the sideline. I was like, okay, let people kind of, go through their theories and all that stuff. Of course, like, I didn't expect Bitcoin to be this high either. Nobody expected to be this valuable. But it become more and more mainstream now, it seems. So, I really feel that we're on the precipice of that, new era type things, and crypto is going to be standing in front of that growth. Whether it is going to be crazy or not, I don't know. Anything could happen. If the SPY comes down, of course, everybody's going to panic, right? GME's going to come down as well. So, or it will happen the opposite way. Who knows? Happen when you least expect it. So just stay, I would say stay sane. Don't do anything irrational. Make sure you have emergency fund. If you, have more money, have to pay rent first. Don't be crazy. Okay, because if GME were to go down, for a period of time, let's say a month before it rocket back up, because this thing has its way of correcting itself, you guys. Stock does not just sell out all the time. Okay, it just doesn't stay low all the time. It just straight down, falling off the cliff. If you have, I guess, a conviction in what you own, because you do the research, you put the time, you put the effort into researching into the company or token, then trust that. Trust yourself to be like, you know what? I'm not going to sell GME at $10. That's crazy. Because you know why? They have asset that is worth $10 a share. It's like, 10, no, even $11 a share. And so, yeah, like when you understand that, I was like, well, okay, do you want me to buy cash with cash in this company? And then, whatever future earnings for this company is going to be free? It's like, yeah, that's a good deal. And you want me to sell? It's like, that's stupid, right? It's like if I go to the store, right? And people were like, if you buy this jacket over here, yes, it costs you $100, but guess what? Inside that pocket, there's $100 bill in there. You wouldn't buy it? It's like, transparent, saying, like, hey, inside this jacket, there's $100 bill over here, a real $100 bill right there. But yes, the jacket costs $100. You wouldn't buy that jacket. Yes, that jacket might not be worth anything, okay, in some people's mind, but at least it's useful for something, right? The same way with GME. If people are telling you it's only $10 or $11, worth $10, they're telling you that. Where that jacket, yes, you're going to get your money back in terms of asset. That $100 bill is yours. In later date, yes, you could, sell it out to somebody else. But my point is that jacket is the company itself, if you make that analogy. And so whatever that jacket might turn out to be, the Michael Jackson jacket, who knows, right? Come to find out later, right? But that's just a fun analogy that I thought in my head, but I hope it makes sense. The point is, again, have the conviction that you have because of the research that you have for yourself. Don't look for somebody to tell you, how high it's going to go or how low it's going to go. You should know that because, you are going to be the one who buy and sell this thing. So do your own research, And so again, this is where the pain comes in. When the price comes down, you're like, well, it's still down. I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, where did you buy it? Just have to wait, right? I mean, good thing doesn't happen just like that. You have to, exercise a little bit patient. I understand, I want it tomorrow as well, but, life just doesn't happen that way. So patience is a virtue, in my opinion. But anyway, so XRP obviously I feel like it has that narrative, looming. And so I think we are going to hear a lot more about XRP. Now, when there's mass media like this, I typically kind of wary because they might have some mechanism where they want to, crash the price down first before, rocket it back up. But, again, it's a trick that they do, right? Getting people all riled up and then saying, oh, it's going to go higher. And then they just rug pull. But again, only temporarily, right? Because, I mean, no matter what the price is doing at the moment, XRP could be worth so much more, or GME could be worth so much more in the future. So that's how market works, you guys. It's forward leading. You are guessing the value of GME in the future. Okay, knowing what you know about GME right now, do you think it's worth $27? I mean, some people disagree with you vehemently. Okay, saying that GME worth shit, doesn't worth anything. Companies doing shit. Okay, they're not even willing to pay $10 for it. Do you agree? That's up to you. And if you agree, why not sell now? Like, look, it's $27. You might not even get your money back. All right, so simple, right? Keep it simple, stupid type thing. Now, in my opinion, that's a steal. Okay, I disagree with whoever tell you that it's only $10 a share. For the reason I just told you about. But anyway, so let's look at the call option chain real quick here, just to try to determine what is the max pain. Of course, this could change, midday or whatever, midweek. Depends on how many people are betting up and down and all that stuff, right? And so, this is the contract that that gentleman was talking about, where, some actors out there who have the ability to see the order book could technically, they could see, okay, how many people are betting up and down and all that stuff, and then to try to, deliver the maximum pain to both sides as much as they can. So that's why, again, the price would only revolve around max pain, with the exception of a couple of times, in a few years. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, but people who sell covered call could lose their shares because they think that, oh, this is for sure, right? So that's what you want to avoid as well. If you want to do covered call, make sure you don't do it on your full position, because you want some exposure here, just in case more ads actually happened. You don't want the whole position to be recalled, do you? Right? And, if they have your order book, they could see that, okay, this many people want to sell GME at 30, and, based on the contract here. And it seems like this is the call wall here. That's the terminology here. $30, I'm sure. This is prediction. I keep saying I'm sure. No, I'm not sure of anything. But I would I would say, by the end of the week, it's gonna fall under 30. Okay? And on the put side, I don't think it's gonna fall below 25. So this is how you kind of determine it, right? Because if it trade above 30, a lot of contracts gonna be in the money. So market maker doesn't want that at all. Again, depends on how many people are betting on the other side too, right? So yeah, I mean, better yet, what if there's a sign of Roaring Kitty coming in June again? Wouldn't that be something, huh? Wouldn't that be something? What if immediately you see all of a sudden 100,000 call in this range right here? I mean, that's the same amount of money that it was bought way back in May of last year. Wait, May of this year? Oh yeah, May of last year. Dang, time's fly. But anyway, so I mean, could it possibly? That's what I'm looking at, right? So I don't know. I'm just eyeing this right now because it's kind of enticing to me to buy it at that price right there. But again, very risky, obviously. You don't want to accumulate too much just in case you are wrong. But I mean, $25 a share is pretty good. But again, these are contracts, so proceed with cautious. All right. I feel like I'm pooped out, you guys. What else do I have? Let's see. Not much here. Doom scrolling. Let's see what Ryan Cohen's doing. Okay, the last tweet was there. Kitty. I don't see him. Loop ring. I thought I had. Yeah. So perhaps another tweet is coming soon. Stay tuned, right? 7 million impression over here. I don't know. Again, just be caution. I'm sure, he's lurking somewhere in the ether somewhere. There's a lot of stuff happening over here. But yeah, just be aware of the price and not to worry about it too much. Price gonna do what it does. Let me take a peek at XRP real quick. So with XRP here, I mean, I don't know how high it's gonna go, but I'm expecting a super cycle, right? With a lot of good sentiment coming in and people are more aware of what XRP could do. I think Ethereum's gonna be struggling at the moment, and I mean, I'm not saying that Ethereum's not gonna go up, but I think that XRP is gonna take over in the second spot here pretty soon, just because of the narrative, obviously, right? And the usefulness of it as well. So with Ethereum, I'm sure it's gonna go up, but not as much as XRP. Other coins, obviously, I have a Stellar Lumen as well. So they move the same way, so that's why I have XLM. Other coins, I haven't do any research. I know this one is like platform based where, you could trade tokens. Let's see what else. Hatera, I've thought about some sort of connection with Ripple in some way. Cardano the same way. I used to have this one, but I don't have it anymore. But yeah, I'm only focusing on the big cap out here and the most realistic one where you could be use it on the real world out there. Immediately, obviously, they're talking about like stable coins and all that stuff, and stable coins is what Ripple Lab is all about. And that narrative alone will give this chain a little bit more, at least clarity. Okay, even more clarity than it actually have. They won the lawsuit already, so again, it's a safe bet in my opinion, based on the regulation aspect of things, right? While the other coins, again, there's no regulation yet to be taken place. So again, the fear is that what if you pick the one that are deemed security, right? And so that's going to be, tough for the founder to, come up with the filings and all that stuff. So the process is just too much for these people. I mean, depends on who built the chain, right? They might not necessarily have the money to, file all of that. And so, Chainlink seems like they have enough. I'm sure, $11 billion market cap is pretty high. So they could sell some of the Chainlink. If it, deem as a security, then they have to show their balance sheets and all that stuff. So, with technology, obviously they could program that into the chain as well, to be more transparent. So, all right, you guys, I will let you guys go. Seems like everybody's falling asleep. And yeah, tomorrow I might come back. Depends on where the price is, right? I'm very excited about it when it trades. So, yeah. Okay, let's revisiting this a bit here. I have my moon back. S&P 500, dividends, all of that, blah, blah, blah. And then what else? Okay, nothing much. Just speculation, you guys. Nothing much here. Now, this is a supply of XRP that I've been kind of tracking, the burnings and all that stuff. So far, 400,000 is being burned so far. So we'll see how that will play out as more and more people are onboarding the chain. What else? I want to look at RLUSD. This is the stable coin for Ripple Lab. And it went up to $100 million already. So 3 months ago, right, when they were launching that, I think December, yeah, when they launched it. And there's been a lot of activity there. Okay, so $100 million, nothing to scoff at, but it's still not, $1 billion. So we need to get to $1 billion there. So this is the stable coin. So, and Ripple Wrap's gonna use XRP Ledger to transact on that. So that's the base case. Regulation's gonna be focused on stable coin for now. And so we have to wait on the other coins to be, divvy up, okay, among the regulators. Now, as far as GME goes, yes, GME too strong. It's not going anywhere. Just have fun with it, okay? All right, guys. So let's go. let's get started. All right. Okay, I'll let you go. Bye.